Valentine's Day is so overrated, until it isn't, by izusoda. Valentine's Day always seemed absurdly overrated to Hitoshi. It was just something overglorified in TV shows and movies. Was he a little salty that he never once got a Valentine's Day gift, other than the chocolates Hisashi and Shota got for him in middle school? Maybe a little, but he convinced himself he really didn't care about useless things like that. Valentine's Day was just an overrated day for depressed people to sulk and for couples to show off to said depressed people. And yet, Valentine's Day had reached Yue when he was still in the general studies. Even among his own peers, who all became so tightly knit together, bonding over jealousy and bitterness and turning it into something more beautiful. Unfortunately, even they were passing cards around, thoughtful gifts and chocolates and flowers. It didn't surprise Hitoshi when he didn't receive anything. Even among his classmates, he felt like he didn't fit in. No, he was sure he didn't. He was sure they were building resentment towards him because he was aspiring for 1A, the very class that brought them together, the class that outshined them in every way, that outshined the whole school, really. He supposes they treated it as some sort of betrayal, though he honestly couldn't care less. It was finally break time. Their lame, unpopular, dull pro-hero homeroom teacher dismissed class, and Hitoshi scrolled his phone as his classmates buzzed around him. Confessions and rejections and laughter filled the room. Hitoshi caught one of the guys crying because he got rejected. Most people started to clear the classroom, heading to the lunchroom or to wander around no train. Hitoshi stayed in his seat, left only with a few lone students who were gossiping about which gifts they had received and from whom. He shut the noise out, content to be left alone. It was better than being bullied, for sure, but there was still something so crippling about being avoided like the plague even now, even for different reasons. The quiet gossip of his classroom suddenly fizzled out. Shinso kept scrolling, and then there was a knock at his desk. He looked up, and oh, there was a boy from the hero course, class 1A too. He had an earnest smile on his face, but Hitoshi couldn't remember his name for the life of him. His classmates were watching him like hawks, venom practically pouring out of their eyes, but the boy seemed totally unbothered. He was the one with the electric quirk. Why was he in the general studies class? Hitoshi's gaze shifted to what the blonde was holding. A bouquet. The boy offered him the bouquet like they were old friends or something. Shinso had to admit, it was pretty. Really, really pretty. Like the type that a boyfriend would get for his girlfriend. Thoughtful and symbolic type pretty. Gingerly, Shinso took them and blinked at him, confused. He wasn't sure if he was trying to bully him or something, or if this was some sort of dare, and he was waiting for an explanation. For you, the boy clarified, nodding at him like that explained it all. Is this some sort of pity thing? Hitoshi asked, and the boy just tilted his head slightly. Like an apology for the rage monster turning the whole school against you guys. He trailed off. The blonde shook his head. No, I just wanted to give them to you, he said sheepishly, tucking his hair behind his ear. I know we don't know each other that well, but I think you're pretty cool, so... Hitoshi glanced at the bouquet, then back at the boy standing at his desk. He blinked at him. I didn't get your name. Oh, right, it's Denki Kaminari. I'm the electricity user. You know, the one who goes all, where? Denki said, doing dramatic hand gestures as he talked. Oh, I don't have anything for you, but thanks, Kaminari, Shinso murmured. He still didn't understand why Denki chose to give him flowers specifically. Why not a girl? And out of all the guys, why him? Kaminari just nodded. Oh, I didn't expect you to. Don't worry about it, he reassured. You were really cool at the sports fest, so, he said with a smile he was trying to suppress. It was the giddy kind that he just couldn't stop. It was so genuine that it made it difficult for Hitoshi to doubt his sincerity. I think your quirk is awesome. Awesome wasn't a word anyone had ever used to describe his quirk. Awesome was a word more fitting for Denki's quirk, or All Might's, or Endeavor's. Something flashy, not his. He just blinked at Denki, hoping it would encourage a further explanation. You'd make an awesome 1A student, so just do your best, yeah? His classmates scoffed when he said that. Denki either didn't hear or didn't care. Hitoshi couldn't tell. Oh, yeah, and about Bakugo. Don't pay him any mind. That's just how he is. He said this louder, more openly, speaking to the rest of the class and not just Hitoshi. The atmosphere went from borderline romantic, intimate and quiet, to casual and loud. Anyways, that's all I was here for. I'll see you around, okay? Denki shot him a quick smile. Sure, Hitoshi nodded at him. He watched the blonde leave his classroom, his peers' eyes glued to him like he was a celebrity. His classmates asked about the bouquet and a word got around. He would have to get Denki something on White Day, and he would also have to tell Shota and Hisashi. He still didn't really get it. Why him? Why a bouquet? Why did it feel like he picked every flower specifically for him? And the colours, yellow and purple. What the hell was this supposed to mean? Was it a declaration of love or some pity present? Hitoshi went to sleep that night with a headache. White Day was rolling around, and Hitoshi started reminding himself to get Denki a gift. Just one issue. He didn't know what Denki likes. At all. And he doesn't like guessing or gambling. So he did the only thing he could do. He asked. Not Denki himself, rather Izuku. He just had to find him, and find him he did. He was on his way to the lunchroom with Uraraka and Ida. Shinso scanned the area, making sure Denki wasn't around. After he made sure he wasn't, he immediately tapped the boy on the shoulder. He turned around, looking a bit surprised, since he and Shinso hadn't spoken since the sports festival. Hi, I have a question. Shinso, hello. Izuku shot a slightly panicked glance to his friends, and made some vague gesture and muttered something about meeting them at their table and to get him a plate. They nodded, looking mildly concerned but ultimately walking off. How can I help you, Shinso? He asked, playing with his fluffy green hair and tilting his head, smiling a bit nervously. Do you know what Denki likes? Huh? His body language immediately became more relaxed. He was assuming Shinso wanted to declare war on him or something. Denki Kaminari, the kid in your class, he elaborated. No, I mean, I know who he is. Why are you asking? He stuttered a bit, seemingly confused. He got me a bouquet for Valentine's Day, and I need to return the favor on White Day, he said bluntly, and Izuku smiled a bit, almost letting himself chuckle. It just seemed so innocent in comparison to what Izuku thought Shinso wanted from him. He likes manga. He likes English literature. I don't know what flowers he likes, but I know he likes poke and soda. Is that of any help? Izuku started mumbling after that, and Hitoshi wasn't going to handle that, so he just nodded. Do you know what flavor he likes? Midoriya looked down thoughtfully. I think strawberry, probably, from what I remember. Hitoshi nodded. Thanks, bye, he hummed, making his way to the cafeteria. Oh, okay then, bye. I'm glad I could help, Izuku exclaimed, waving enthusiastically. Shinso raised his hand as a sort of wave, too, without looking back. Hitoshi was at his desk when he was next considering what to do for his gift. So pokey. Strawberry pokey isn't that thoughtful, though. He couldn't write a card. What would he even write? They're not friends. Hitoshi barely even remembered his face from the sports festival. Maybe he could... White Day. Shinso didn't think he'd feel so awkward going into 1A. He felt like he was betraying his peers, and worse, intruding. He felt like he didn't belong before he even walked through the door. The class was mainly empty, minus Denki, the tape guy, the boner dude, that's what Shinso called him in his head because remembered him saying his quirk makes him get hard, and like 4 other classmates scattered around the room all talking about some trivial shit. With a deep breath, Shinso walked into the room. Nobody even glanced at him. That was relieving. Denki was on his phone, and this suddenly felt oddly familiar. Hitoshi knocked on his desk, and Denki looked up at him, face brightening as he realized who was at his desk. Shinso, hey! He greeted him happily. Shinso just nodded. Got you stuff. He placed the items on his desk. A box of strawberry pokey, a matcha pokey, his own personal favourite, and a flower from the bouquet with a small note attached. It was the prettiest one. It looked like a hybrid of the two flower types Denki used, purple and yellow bleeding together in the most perfect way. Denki's face lit up. He looked a bit taken aback. Oh? For you. Hitoshi didn't feel as awkward as he thought he would. Denki smiled at the pokey, then went to pick up the flower. Giving you a piece back of what you gave me. Happy White Day. Again, the same as on Valentine's Day, he had this smile on his face that he couldn't suppress. He giggled a bit. This is super sweet. Shinso nodded. Sorry it's not super eloquent. I'm not good at writing letters. It's perfect, Kaminari reassured, voice soft. He held the flower like it was something precious. You're super good at giving gifts. Thanks. He was absolutely going to steal all the credit from Izuku. Whatever, he surely wouldn't mind. Thank you, Hitoshi. Hitoshi paused. He wished he had something to hide his face in, because he was sure it went at least half a shade redder. Oh, sorry, I meant, Denki stuttered, shaking his hands like he was trying to placate him. It's fine, you can call me by my first name, Shinso nodded. So long as I get to use yours, Denki. Kaminari smiled. Sure. His name sounded so nice rolling off of Hitoshi's tongue. Happy White Day. I'm going back to my class before they burn me at the stake, but I'll see you around, okay? He sighed, turning around and looking back to give him a small, tiny smile. Denki's face was red. He just nodded. Hold on, actually, he said, getting a piece of paper out, folding it and scribbling for a moment before handing it to Hitoshi. He furrowed his brows at it. My number, in case you wanted to meet up, the blonde exclaimed. Hitoshi huffed a fond sigh, nodding. I'll text you then. Bye. Bye. The silence was so loud when Shinso left. You totally like him! Mina practically parkour jumped over his desk. Denki could only stay quiet, because she was right. He didn't know how or why. They talked a grand total of 2 times, but there was something about him. Oh my god, wait! You actually do? She asked, seeming a bit shocked. Denki just sighed and buried his face in his hands. You do? I do. Hi, thank you for 103 subscribers. It makes me really happy. And I hope that you keep enjoying what I put out. So thank you for listening, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.